Oh, hey. So, Nick.
Yes.
Uh, well, first off, welcome back. Uh, Looks like there's only two of you out there this week.
Or welcome for the first time if you're just joining us.
Did the third guy die?
I hope not.
Where'd he go?
I liked him. He was my favorite.
Yeah, I, I tolerated him. he was okay at best. Welcome back to our Hey, Have You Watched? And this week, I asked Nick if he had seen Grumpy Old Men.
And I hadn't, but now I have.
And I guess before we start, you start with yours. I'll just say that. So this is a movie. It has Jack Lemmon, Walter Matthau, which were the original Odd Couple, the original Oscar and Felix. It was something that my dad was quite a fan of back in the day. So it was stuff I watched with him. And then naturally, when Grumpy Old Men came out, went and watched it with that one as well, and a lot of nostalgia for my dad. I thought the movie was hilarious. Just those guys were like they were comedy mainstays back in the day. But
And they were used to playing off each other.
yeah, like they did. I think there was a couple of the Odd Couple movies, and then I don't think there's a TV show, so to speak. But yeah, they are used to like being teamed up and stuff, and I think they'd done a couple of other movies together as well.
Okay.
It's like they were the unofficial like Bud Abbott and Lou Costello. You know,
I don't think I'm familiar with them.
yeah. Well, back in the day, like those
Yeah.
were two giant names in movies. But yeah, 0 to 10, I would give Grumpy Old Men a solid 7 because it did have a pretty star-studded cast. You had Daryl Hannah, you had what's his name, Kevin Pollock
Yep.
as well. You had Sophia Loren.
That's incorrect.
Oh, that's right. Sophia Loren shows up
In the
on
second-
Grumpier Old Men.
Grumpier Old Man. Because that's something I was going to bring up. Is like you thought of this movie,
Yeah.
because I made you watch Man of La Mancha because Sophia Loren was in Man of La Mancha,
Yeah, but you're
and then
right.
I was sitting there watching it. I'm like, when does Sophia Loren come in?
Yeah.
And then I like looked it up and I'm like, oh, there's a sequel. I'm like, oh, Sophia Loren is in this sequel. So
Hey, Nick, have you seen Grumpier Old Men?
no, but please don't make me watch that one.
It's good too.
I mean, probably
That gives me a peek of what you thought of this movie with what you just said.
But it's more of like I want to branch out a little bit.
Okay.
See some like different types of movies.
That was a different type of movie.
No, it's the same as this one.
No, well,
It's gonna
that's
just
true.
be a sequel to Grumpy Old Man, which
It's the continuing adventures of the Grumpy Old Men.
for a few more years at least.
Yeah. Well, all right,
Is it-
stop that. That's mean.
Which is sad.
But yeah, it's just one of those flicks that I just remember very fondly. If I was to give it a 0 to 10, yeah, like I said, I think I said a solid 7. It's just one of those ones where if it's on TV, if it's before the fish in the back of the car scene, I have to sit and watch it until that part happens, and then I can go about my day.
Okay.
I remember laughing my head off in the theater at that. Yeah. So, what did you think?
So, from 0 to 10, I give it a 5 because it's okay.
Middle of the road. Okay.
So it's kind of like I watched it. I'm not mad I watched it. I'm not. If it was like, hey, I've got these two movies like Grumpy Old Man and something else, I might pick something else.
I think I've been batting pretty low in my movie suggestions
No, you've
to
been
you.
doing you've been doing pretty good because I liked Strange Days. I liked what was the first one? Fright Nights.
Fright Night. Yeah.
I think this is only the third movie you've made me watch on here. I mean, you kind of like, hey, let's do some new movies for a new segment, and Dune and Vampire something or other. Night
Kiss. Night Teeth. Yeah, that's it. That was the one.
So those were just kind of, we've never seen these movies. Let's just toss them out there and see what it is.
Right.
I think I'm betting lower than you with my Josie and the Pussycats and Man of La Mancha.
Pretty sure I gave Josie and the Pussycats.
It was like a 6, I think.
Yeah, I think it was a 6. Man La Mancha, I think it
you
was
gave it a
middle of the
5.
road.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, you've only had me watch 2, and
Yep.
I've had you watch 3.
Yeah.
So
I know you've had me watch other movies that we weren't doing for a series, and I've liked some of those less than other ones. But
yeah.
we're not talking about those, so I didn't have to pay a super deep amount of attention to.
Yeah. Okay. So give me your thoughts.
So I mean, it's just one of those ones that was like kind of okay. I mean, I liked the chemistry between. I actually liked. I don't. I know the characters. What was it? John Gustafson.
Yeah, right.
So Jack Lemmon is. I liked him more than I liked Walter Matthau.
I've laid more pipe in this town than Wabasha plumbing. That's also one of my favorite lines in that whole movie. But
It's like the fact that Gustafson still had his dad alive and was kind of amusing to me. So you had that really old man telling a bunch of other old men like, you kids. It's kind of no matter how old you get, you're always a child in the eyes of your parents.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I get that.
Which I think John Gustafson was just a bit more of a likable character than Max Goldman was.
Well, he's the grumpiest old man.
Yeah, Max was definitely grumpier, and he was kind of the ones that was just kind of. It's like I saw her first, like you did all this shit to me, and he just seemed to be the bitterest out of the two of them. The other guy was kind of carrying on the grudge, just kind of out of.
Well, it's funny. I think the reason I also like the movie is not only is it like humorous, but it's also like a tale of when you've been friends with people for too long. It's like those wounds kind of like they kind of stack up, then the wife, the woman that chose Jack Lemmon instead of Walter Matthau. Oh shit! Spoilers.
Oh yeah,
spoilers.
This movie's from '97. You've had plenty of time.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
but we're going to be talking about the movie in depth.
If you were born yesterday, spoilers.
Yeah. If you were born yesterday, you might recognize a person in this movie.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And if that's the case, don't do a movie review of our movie review because you can't spell or talk. But yeah, it's just I think it's one of those. Not only did it have a serious side to it, but then you got to see like generational problems. You get to see when two people are friends for too long, and then a woman comes into the mix, and how it basically makes all of that
kind of wrenches them apart a little bit.
Yeah, like I liked the backstory of like how Jack Lemmon's character, like he's losing the house, he lost the girl, he doesn't have his friend anymore.
Yeah,
and
he's just kind of used to being alone. Like they kind of constantly show him like messing with his chessboard himself, and then like when what's her name, Ariel. Comes over and kind of like starts looking over the board and messing with it. He's like, "What are you doing? Like, why are you playing chess?" Like forgetting that it's a like a two-player game.
Yeah, but yeah, it's one of those flicks that's it gets a heartfelt message through, and it kind of shows you sometimes you have to kind of appreciate what you have instead of, but like the other thing is, Jack Lemmon had Burgess Meredith, which is another one that I forgot. The great Burgess Meredith, Globulus himself. Do you know that reference?
No.
It's from the G.I. Joe movie. It's horrible. But
okay.
Yeah.
It's like Burgess. I don't know. It's the grandpa.
He's also the penguin in the old school Adam West Batman movies.
Okay.
And he was Rocky's trainer in the movie Rocky.
All right. I've never seen Rocky either.
I don't think that's one I'm going to force you to watch because it is a good one, but there are
I've
other.
heard the sequels are better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Clubber Lang,
Well,
Ivan Drago. Those are easily better movies.
I think one issue with kind of hearing about movies for so long and then watching them is that if they're a classic and everyone like talks them up, by the time you go to see them, they've been talked up in your head for so long that people have said this is the greatest movie ever, and you watch it and it's like okay, and I don't like okay isn't bad.
Right.
Like if you were to sit me down and be like, hey, here's Grumpy Old Ben, you're gonna find it a 5 out of 10. I'd be like, cool, I'll make time for it because who doesn't want to like? It's a movie that you kind of like, and that's good. I'm fine watching fives. Fives are okay movies. They're just kind of the things that's not going to, like, I don't know, stick with you for a necessarily long time. Like when I was a kid and I watched Jurassic Park. I watched Jurassic Park and I liked dinosaurs, and then dinosaurs just kind of filtered into like my person at that point in time.
Right.
And like a five's not going to do that. You're going to sit and you're going to watch it, and you're going to have like an okay time with it, or a fun enough time with it. And then it was just going to be like one of those movies that you look back one day and be like, I've not seen that 5 in 15 years. I guess I'll watch it again. And then you'll watch it and be like, maybe you'll like it more, maybe you'll like it less.
Yeah, a lot of the movies that I really, really like, for the most part, they usually age pretty well. But you kind of expanded my mind on something you just said. So because I mean I know it, but I had to kind of hear it, but verbally. So when people talk stuff up enough, it kind of like builds the hype in your head,
Yes.
and then when you watch it, it can't live up to what. And I think we talked a little bit about that on we were the 300 knockoff movie.
Yeah.
Where Joe was talking something
Yeah,
up.
or he explained the joke funnier than.
Yeah, and I was dying. Then I watched the movie and I was like, "This is utter trash."
Yeah.
Maybe from now on, I need to start underselling because I told you that I went and saw the movie that we saw tonight, and I kind of gave you my pre-rating on it.
Yeah.
Before you saw it, so now maybe that's going to.
See, I don't know that it will necessarily, just because I've got my own. I've gone into so many movies with low expectations, just because slowly over time, a lot of the newer movies are. And I don't want to be like old man that newer movies are worse than old movies, because I don't think that's necessarily true either. I mean, you could go back in the catalog and pull out some real crap from back in the like 80s and 90s. It just because it's from the 80s doesn't make it a good movie. It's just the movies that you keep hearing about from the 80s are the ones that have withstood 40 years of time. So of course people bringing up like Rocky or whatever, they continue on. Whereas if you're just to pull out random ass movie from the crack your ass.
Yeah, I can see. Well, like the 80s were like a golden period in like movie making.
But were they? I mean, I don't know.
The nostalgia in my head tells me so.
I would agree that nostalgia. I'm definitely going to look at movies that I watched as a kid and look back on those a lot more fondly than stuff I look at now. But I mean, being a kid nowadays, I mean, for what the Marvel's movies are, maybe a lot of people are like, man, stupid Hollywood movies. I mean, how cool is it as a kid to go and watch all these movies that like interconnect with each other, and you can kind of keep seeing like your same. It's like watching TV shows back in the day, or like radio serials back on the radio, with all these continuing characters, and now you can just go to the movie theater and can watch the continuing adventures of Captain America.
Yeah.
And for old people nowadays, they can be like, it's all, they're just doing it for money, and it's all pomp and circumstance and whatever.
Yeah.
It's dog and pony show and other idioms.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail exactly on the head with that. It's like movies back in the day. It's like they were kind of one shots, and they put them out, and they made a ton of money, and then they would force through a second movie.
Yeah, and they wouldn't. Sometimes you could tell they blew their load on movie number one. So when movie number two came around, it's just worse. And I think that's kind of gotten the laid down the kind of idea that sequels just are automatically worse than.
Oh, they're for the most part they're viewed as cash grabs.
Yeah.
I mean, can you name 3 movies off the top of your head that had good sequels?
So.
And I think I know what 2 of them you're going to say is.
Empire Strikes Back.
But as it turns out, not a cash grab.
Yes.
Because it was a good movie. Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah. No, we're talking about 3 movies that.
Just 3 movies that came after. Does it have to be the immediately afterwards? Because I mean.
No.
Okay.
Just a good movie that you walked out and you're like, I feel good that I watched that, instead of just like, Jesus Christ, they just got my $8.
Like Captain America: Winter Soldier, I think was better than First Avenger.
Okay, you've hit one of the movies I thought you were going to say.
Oh, did you not think Empire Strikes Back was going to be one of them?
So no, I thought Empire Strikes Back.
Okay.
I thought Star Wars is like a given.
Yeah.
But I did not expect you to do, because I also agree with you. I thought Winter Soldier was better than the first Captain America movie. But like, what 30 minutes of that movie was him kind of like falling into the role and punching fake Hitlers on stage and selling war bonds and shit. So.
Yeah, I mean, with origin movies like that, you're gonna. I think Spider-Man 2 is probably better than the first Spider-Man as well. Tobey Maguire. The one with Dr. Octopus versus as opposed to Green Goblin. Because I mean, Willem Dafoe was amazing as Green Goblin, but
I hated the way he looked.
Yeah, the story in the second Spider-Man movie, I think, just flowed a little bit better.
Yeah, it's the Green Goblin's costume. Like, he looked like something.
He looked like a Power Ranger villain.
Have you ever seen the movie? Oh God, it's the Stephen King one where all the vehicles become alive.
Oh. Coraline?
No, it's like Maximum.
Oh, Maximum Overdrive.
Yes. Okay. So, like, to me, the Green Goblin in that movie, in the first Spider-Man movie, looked like
that Green Goblin truck
on the front of the truck. Yeah, like, and it was distracting as hell, because every time he'd show up, I was just like, why is the Mack truck in this damn movie? But
so there's at least 3 movies I think that where sequels are better than the originals, and there's probably more. And if I had more time to think, I could probably pull out a few. But for the most part, I mean, the fact that I have to think about it.
Yeah.
Because then at that point in time, is Avengers a sequel to Iron Man? Because I like that better than Iron Man, but it's kind of not.
No, when you put them all together, I think it just becomes its own thing. But um, if you don't agree with us,
Well, I guess Dark Knight's better than Batman Begins.
definitely the two that you normally hear people say, and when I say that, I mean like Gen Xers like me, is usually Terminator 2
Yeah,
because that movie was
I like it better. I don't know that. And Aliens is
always aliens.
I like Aliens better than Alien, but at that point in time, it's comparing a horror movie to an action movie, and I like action movies just a bit more.
Right.
Whereas if I liked horror movies more, then Alien is obviously better than Aliens.
Right, but it's like I still think that Aliens is still a horror movie. Just for like it had like a lot of the scares. Like the first time you see the Colonial Marines down like looking for the survivors and those things start moving out of the wall.
I mean,
You know?
I still think it's an action movie.
It's creepy, it's scary.
It's got some maybe jumpy scares, but at that point in time, it ekes a bit more into.
Oh, I won't argue with you. I'll agree with you. It was definitely more of a horror action movie than a horror movie.
But it's an action horror movie as opposed to just a flat out horror movie.
Man, what a good movie.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I thought you were going to. I kind of figured you'd say Star Wars.
Yeah.
I kind of thought you might say like some of the Lord of the Rings movies.
I actually like Fellowship of the Ring the most.
Really?
I do. I think I like Return of the King almost as much as but I don't know. I like seeing them all together, and that's kind of fun. And then you kind of at the end we have that kind of emotional moment with Boromir. I kind of like all that.
If he could have only taken one more arrow. Poor Sean Bean. But, you know, he's destined to play those roles.
Yeah.
But, yeah, no, I 100% agree with you on that. It's kind of tricky with movies. I really feel like a lot of times we kind of get them built up bigger in our heads, and then we go into them, and we kind of set ourselves up. So, honestly, I think looking forward, there was a period in my life where like I would go see movies and I would hold them in these high thresholds, and it's like you really have to impress me to make me like this movie. And then I remember walking out of the movie and being like, yeah, it had this and had that, it had more jump, and that's still something I stand by. You go see a horror movie and it has more jump scares than like genuine creepy movie moments.
That's
Yeah, I'm not digging that, but I've kind of let that go because it's like, who am I to hold this high? You know, like, and then when you go talk at a party, or if your people are asking you about movies, and you're like, I didn't like it because the camera angles and this and that. Like, people don't want to hear that shit.
I also don't. I don't really. I'm not a filmmaker. I
Yeah.
don't pay attention to as much. I just kind of go to the movie and kind of get a sense for how it flows, and it just if it connects to me with me. Because I mean, great movies aren't necessarily going to connect with me. They're not going to connect with everybody.
Yeah.
I think by trying to dumb down movies to cast the widest net, you're getting just kind of the blandest of products.
Yeah.
Which I think is probably the issue with movies nowadays is we got to appeal to everyone in every country, therefore get the biggest net possible, and then you're just not getting that. You're not getting as many high reactions, but you're not getting as many low reactions either. You're just nice and blah in the middle.
Yeah. I just want to be told a good story. I just want to be entertained. I just want to kind of get lost for an hour and a half. If I feel the seat by the end of the movie, that's not a great sign for me.
Yeah.
If I'm scared to leave the theater to go take a leak, that's a good sign.
Yeah.
You know, like it's the movie I saw today. I don't want to say it, but the movie I saw today, it was like I was trying to find points to like go and refill.
But you couldn't.
No, to refill my all you can drink ices, and I just could not find that opportunity, so I just stayed.
And just think, if you're watching it at home, you could just pause it.
Yeah, but I don't have an icy machine here either, so you know. But
I mean, I like going to the theater. I'm so happy about staying at home and watching new movies, though. Watch them at my own pace. There's nobody sitting next to me. You don't get that theater experience with your friends, and that's kind of there's positives and negatives, but
there's just so many, to me, there's so many benefits going to theater, but like here lately, there's so many negatives too, because it's like people have gotten ruder and ruder.
Yeah.
And then when it comes to like the phones, if one more person opens up a fucking phone around me, I'm going to just start shoving popcorn in their eyes. It drives me nuts, because when the theater gets that dark, back in the day, the only thing that really kind of distracted you were the runners on the floor in the aisles, so you can actually see where you're walking.
Yeah.
And then, you know, but
and
now...
And the exit signs that you need to have.
And now one person opens their phone in the aisle.
Lights up the row.
And it's like someone put a beacon out.
I'm surprised when people have their phone brightnesses turned up so high. You want to pause?
Yeah, like you can actually edit on your phone. You can like turn the brightness down.
Is it playing?
Yeah, it's ticking.
Okay. Oh, yeah,
But-
there it is.
Sorry, my cat jumped up on the counter and tried to drag some food onto the floor so she could eat it, and I had to go intercept. But
Making a snip, snip.
yeah, we're gonna cut that out.
All right. So like people nowadays, their phone brightness. I don't know if the phone brightnesses are just like all the way up because I keep mine at like 15-20% just because it keeps the battery going. So I think a lot of people are just like 100% all the time. Turn it on in the theater.
Yeah, I think.
Make it big.
Well, I also think that a lot of folks have it like kind of on auto adjust. So when you go in like the super dark theater, the phone thinks that like you're in the blackest area, like you're down in the bottom of a coal mine, so it gets like super bright.
It's supposed to go the opposite way. So when you're outside in the light, it's supposed to be brighter because to counteract the light. And when you're in the dark, it's supposed to be lower so it doesn't like blind you.
Oh, well then, yeah, I guess people are just using the front-facing part of their phones as flashlights. I don't know, because I know when that goes off in the middle of a movie, it's blinding.
It's so distracting.
But what we were originally talking about, we got so far off track on that.
So, I mean, I guess the thought of the sidetrack itself, because I mean, Grumpy Old Men, I mean, it's a movie that's okay, for me at least. And we kind of got into the sidetrack about why, in that I don't think that movies nowadays are worse than they were.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that there's so many of them, and also how much hype is built up for movies nowadays is that you are aware of every movie that comes out. Like when I was a kid, I didn't know about every movie that was coming out. I would have known all the bad movies that I wouldn't have liked coming out. But nowadays, like especially when you can drive yourself to the theater, and you've got you're bereft of choice with Netflix, HBO Max, Disney Plus, all these streaming services in which you can go and watch any movie you want, especially like nostalgic movies.
Right.
New movies nowadays are competing so much against the entire catalog of every movie that has ever existed. That one movie to come out nowadays has to be something, and then they're putting up products nowadays too. So they're not necessarily making art movies or movies that they want to. It's kind of like, well, this movie series did well, so time to put out a sequel and see if that one does well too.
Yeah.
So you've kind of got the mixture of product and so many movies, so many choices. It's hard.
Yeah, and it's funny how much emphasis like people put on spoilers and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like it drives me nuts. Like if a movie comes out that weekend, if you put a spoiler out there, there is a place in hell for you when you die. Like I don't like the YouTubers that try to be the first to like do a review on this movie and then they don't throw like a spoiler warning up or anything like that.
Or when they put like a character reveal on the thumbnail.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I saw the one for the surprise character in Deadpool 2 was just up on a thumbnail somewhere.
Wow.
And I'm like, oh, wonderful! It's been 2 days.
Wow. Okay. Who do you kid allowed that person out? No, let's not do that.
I don't even remember who. It's just I was flipping through, saw the thing, and I'm just like, ah, you bastard.
Yeah. It's I find it funny these days, like where we put so much punctuation on the spoilers and everything like that, because the movie that I saw tonight already had a spoiler in the stores when they sold action figures. So like we were watching this flick. I'll just go ahead and say it.
You say what you watched.
Yeah, we went and saw Ghostbusters. Me and my wife went and saw Ghostbusters Afterlife tonight, and it was good. And what, 2.5 months ago, they already had the toys out. So like half of the toys that were put out were like super spoilers.
So I guess I mean if you're the sort of person that collects merchandise, I mean you're probably gonna get spoiled for things.
Yeah.
Pretty soon.
But the thing is that. Okay, so I remember for like the first Star Wars movie, Episode 7, that came out, like the prequels or whatever. I remember they put out toys of like Rey, and she already came with a lightsaber. And then like there were all these rumors that like the Finn also had a lightsaber, but I guess it was for that one moment he picks it up.
Yeah. They kind of put him on the cover with a lightsaber, and you're gonna be like, oh, cool, he looks like he'll be pretty cool. And then it was like, gave you the slip. It's actually the other person is this. The
Yeah,
Jedi.
but they didn't show any of that like initially in the trailer, and then all of a sudden people are like, you have the collector that goes out and then he posts it all over the place
Yeah.
of like her holding the lightsaber.
It's one person finds out now due to the magic of the internet. You found out too.
And then in the last movie, or maybe it was the second movie, I don't remember because those movies were such trash I've forgotten them. But there was the one that had like the dark side Ray, that had like the double lightsaber thingy.
She was there to make a toy in a trailer, not.
Yeah, and that's exactly what happened. The toy came out, people got a hold of it, and then that was like a spoiler that they stuck out there. But yeah, it kind of baffles me how fast the industry moves these days. It's like you have to get the toys out on the street before the movie even comes out. Like the Eternal toys were out on the street like a full month and a half, 2 months before the show.
I mean, you're going to make people angry by not having toys ready. Because think about like when Mandalorian came out, they didn't have any Baby Yoda toys because they wanted to keep that a secret.
Right.
So, and then people were like, "Where's the Baby Yoda toys? We have to make them ourselves because they're not." And by keeping a secret, you're kind of making people angry, not necessarily realizing that. Well, in order to get this toy out, you've got to put it out before the reveal in the show. And that's going to spoil parts of it for people.
But honestly, do you think that was a Jon Favreau or you think that was a Disney choice? Like, you think Jon Favreau was like...
I think I remember reading that kind of like Jon Favreau and stuff was like, you don't want to put it out too early.
See, I could see it as a 50-50 because like...
I'm not as informed on that, but for me to speak.
Well, I'm not as informed on that either. Mm-hmm. But what I will say is that... the Kathleen Kennedy stuff that came out, like those movies didn't do well, and like the toy sales slumped because people didn't like the movies. So like you had all this merch, like you could still go out and buy like what would have been prizes back in the day of like the golden Rey and the golden Kylo Ren action figures. Like those things would have been worth good money, but now you can get them on Walmart.com for like $4 or something like that. So they just didn't sell, and I'm wondering because that trend was happening. If like I think it was the guy's name is Bob, who's like the lead big fancy pants at Disney at the time. If they were like, we're gonna put this show out, Mandalorian, let's go ahead and get some toys ready. Maybe we can have them hold them off the shelves until like the show comes out, and it's Bob Iger, and he was probably like, you know what? Let's just see if the show hits first and see if there's any kind of demand.
Maybe, I don't know.
I mean, I could be completely wrong. Like
I thought they had other toys for like Mandalorian stuff out, but I'm not a toy collector like some other people around here.
Yeah, I do like collecting toys, but to be fair, my plan is one day when my son gets old enough, I'm just going to take him in the room and just be like, go fucking nuts.
Yeah.
So, well, at least on the stuff that's not worth anything. All the stuff that's worth something is going to send him to college.
Go nuts, but not this stuff. This stuff is expensive, and not this stuff. This stuff is also expensive.
You see that?
But go nuts with
that's
these
3
toys.
years of books. This is like 2 years of college. I'm hoping that's what's going to happen. But I also figure because it's something I'm planning for, that the collectible market will bottom out eventually, and they'll all be worthless.
Yeah. Gamble.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a gamble, and I put more than my fair share of money forward. But think about how cool that reveal was because they didn't have those toys. And then you find out it was like a baby, whatever the species of Yoda is, and like how much punch that had. And I think that's
really cool.
And I think that's what made the show like that popular. But you also had the dicks that the second that show came out,
they were putting that stuff out.
Yeah.
So you've got to be like really on the so all this to talk about spoilers and be like, I am a bit more lax with spoilers because I know a lot of stuff with streaming services getting kind of its second renaissance.
Right.
Whereas like back in the day, if you wanted to go watch Family Matters, that's on HBO Max before, and I was like flipping through and like, oh, HBO Family Matters. I remember Urkel. I'm probably not going to watch it because I don't know if I want to sit through Urkel again.
No.
But I mean, people could go back and I guess rediscover old movies. So I try to be nicer with really old stuff that's not necessarily in classic territory, just to kind of give newer people, and even people like me who I've watched movies a lot, but I've not watched a lot of movies, if that makes sense.
It does.
It sure does. I mean, I've watched these 3 movies. It's like if you play a video game, it's like, oh, what video game do you play? Skyrim, and that's it. Like you sit down and play Skyrim all day, every day. So you play video games a lot. You don't play a lot of video games because you don't like. I played Skyrim till I beat it, and then I moved on, and then I played Halo till I beat it, and moved on, and played this. So it's kind of like I watch a lot of movies of a bunch of times, and then it's rather than spreading out my knowledge of movies, it's kind of like, well, what am I going to do today? Yeah, throw in Jurassic Park again.
Yeah.
Watch a new movie? No. I'll just stick with the old classics.
You can't beat comfort movies.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny, and we've probably already said this in another video, but I always thought it was funny back in the day. My wife is a very thoughtful person, and when she would go to bed at night, she would go through the channels and try and find something that she thought I would like to watch. But she goes to bed at 9 o'clock. She'd put on something at 10 o'clock when she's starting to go to sleep. I'd walk back there at 11 o'clock and like Rocky Horror or Charlie and the Chocolate,
and now it's an hour into that movie.
Yeah, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, like all that stuff's on. So now I have to sit there and watch it before I go take my shower. And then when it's over, then I take my shower, then I'm in bed, then it takes me like 30 minutes to fall asleep. So it's like 1:30 in the morning. And then I have to be back out of bed at 6 o'clock. So I used to call those trap movies or FU movies. And now she doesn't do that for me, and now I miss it. So I wish I wouldn't have said anything. But it's just, I guess, what comes with poor self-control.
Well, I imagine it makes your next day better. I mean, if you kind of have to be aware of your own issues so that you can snip that shit in the bud.
Yeah.
Which you're probably better off for not doing it. But who doesn't want to watch a movie?
Yeah.
I guess there's some people. Because I've got like a friend that doesn't like watching movies, and I'm like, what's wrong with you? Movies are so good. But he likes reading books.
Oh, I'll never go after somebody for that. I mean...
No, I mean, I'm pretty sure I have aphantasia. So books just don't hold the same mystique for me because they're...
What is aphantasia?
Oh, we talked about it once in the podcast, but we haven't talked about it here. So, like, your mind's eye. Like, if you can close your eye and picture vivid images and stuff like that. I can get, like, a shape. If I close my eyes and try to think of an apple, I can get, like, a blur, like a white outline of an apple shape, but I can't make it look red and vibrant, and I can't see it, like, I don't see it sitting on a surface. I just see it floating, like, in space in the blackness with the kind of splotchy bits.
That's really weird to me. Like, what is the opposite side of that? What am I not seeing? Because I can see a red apple on a beach with a seahorse jumping out behind it and shit. Like, I can visualize in my head whatever I see. So, like, what would be the other side of that?
Well, like full aphantasia, or do you mean what is the? I think most people see things like that. Like if you're to grade like how vibrant is this image from like a 0 to a 10.
Right.
A lot of people are on like 8s or 9s from what I've understood, where they can close their eyes and they can get a pretty good idea. Like if I say like imagine a guy holding a ball, and be like, cool. Now what color is the ball that the guy's holding?
You can't just say red.
I mean, I could just make. I don't see the color. If I close my eyes and try to imagine a guy holding a ball, I usually can't. I might be able to get the outline of a dude and maybe like the outline of a ball, but I can't. I don't see color or anything like that. So it's always made like books. People like when people have talked about reading books, and there's a description of like a city, and then they go see a movie, and they're like, "Well, I didn't see it that way in my head. That never made sense to me until I learned about these people actually picture things in their head. Like when people talk about their mind's eye, I just thought that was like a."
I mean, well, you're not one of the people that are killing movies these days then, because when they get these pre-concepts of what they want the movie to be and then they go and see it and then they tear it down because that is not how they had it in their head.
Yeah.
And then they get into echo chambers and everyone jumps in behind them. I almost feel like it's like when you say it that way, because that to me still blows my fucking mind. Like that rocks my world when you say that.
That I can't see stuff?
Yeah, like, well, I mean, look at the Oogie Boogie that's off camera right now.
Yeah.
And then whenever you can't turn around and like picture the color of him, his hat and all that.
If I close my eyes, I can see the after image for a second, and then he just kind of like fades.
Huh.
I could probably get the shape, but I mean, is it Oogie Boogie or is it Grimace that I'm looking at in my head?
Well, he's green, so it's Oogie Boogie.
I don't get color.
Are you colorblind?
No, I mean, like when I close my mind's eye, the color doesn't last.
That is
so it's just the shape of it, and the shape of Oogie Boogie is kind of like the shape of Grimace.
Okay, I won't. Yeah, no, you're right. I guess I never made that connection, but
I didn't either until I closed my eyes and saw the outline of Oogie Boogie, and I'm like, oh, he's kind of Grimace shaped, isn't he?
I almost have to feel like that's the whole. What do you see? Do you see the black and blue dress, or do you see the gold and white dress?
Mm-hmm.
Or like they used to have the pictures of like the ballerina that was like spinning, and then like
can you make her spin the other direction?
depending on what side she's spinning, which way she's spinning, it's left brain, right brain, and then. So for my foil back in the day, for me was when they first came out with those stupid, highly pixelated pictures that had like the
the Magic Eyes.
Yes.
Okay.
I hated those. I was literally Willem.
It's a schooner.
Yeah, I was. It's not a schooner. It's a sailboat.
Schooner. Here's a sailboat.
You know what? I was Willem from Mallrats because I could not see those pictures, and like for the longest time, that was the hot thing in malls, and I was thinking it was like I was on Candid Camera or something.
It's like, what are you seeing?
Or Punk'd.
There's no image in there.
Because people are like, oh my God, Statue of Liberty. And I'd go and stare at it and be like, the fuck? I couldn't see it. It used to drive me nuts.
That was one of those things I had to... Once I got into a mode, I could see them. But then when I came back and looked at it later, it's like I forgot how to look at them. And I had to relearn how to look at Magic Eyes to see the stupid things in them.
Well, they always say relax your eyes.
So I'd have to do that weird little cross-eyed sort of thing. And that would kind of make it work.
I've seen it. I've seen one of the Magic Eye pictures one time, and I don't know what I did, but the people who would sell it would be like, "All right, stand here.
Yeah, stand here.
You're gonna want to relax your eyes, and you're just gonna want to cross them ever so slightly." And it's like, okay, I see the outline of two fucking pictures now, and I can't see the colors because it's all blurry. Because I guess I was overcrossing. Yeah. What I found out is if you stare at them, and finally your brain is like, "I don't give a shit about doing this anymore," and your eyes go out of focus, is when they pop out.
I think I remember trying to look through them and kind of do that. Like if you look at a thing and then try to look past it, and it makes the thing in front of it blurry, and I think that's how it worked. But I've not looked at one in so long. I don't know if that's how I looked at them anymore.
Well, it's what I realized was when you're staring at something and then you don't really care and your mind starts to wander, and then you can kind of see instead of your eyes being focused on one point, it just kind of start going, all right, screw this, and they just kind of start doing, basically looking forward. Yeah. They become unfocused, so you're not dialed into one particular area. But then there's that sweet spot in the picture where you can clearly see it, which just never made sense to me. It's to see the picture, you have to unfocus your eyes. Yeah, that's the whole point of looking at something. But that's the only thing I could think is tantamount to I can look at this and then I see the shape of it, but I can't see the details of it because that rocks my world. It's the same as cilantro. I hate cilantro. It makes me want to vomit when I smell it or when I eat it.
Doesn't it taste like soap to some people?
To me it tastes like soap. It smells like industrial grade floor cleaner to me. Mm-hmm. My wife loves it. I cannot eat it. Black licorice tastes like utter ass to me.
I like black licorice now. It's I used to hate black licorice. Another thing, I'm going to assume it's because I drank a lot of root beer. And that must have been, or something. Or maybe I just maybe I went old. The second my old button flipped. Oh, you like black licorice? Nah.
When you look at that bag of Werthers over there, how do you feel?
I don't see them. But I imagine if they were tasteless sugar candy, I've got a few more years on.
Oh, no, they're delicious. Okay. They're actually, that's the one thing that old people are definitely right about. Fucking Werthers are magic. But, yeah, no, that kind of blows my mind. But I've gotten to the point now where it's people go and see the show and they're like, it's good. And then they read the book because you always have that one asshole, book's better.
Yeah. I mean, if it's based on anything, the thing it's based on is better.
Yeah, The Wheel of Time is about to come on TV.
Yeah.
And I'm going to watch them on TV and then I'm going to go and read the book. And that way, if I enjoy it on TV, then I will doubly enjoy it in the book.
Because then it'll just be more...
Right, unless there's one instance where they're like, oh my god, the show is so much better than the book, which I do not think has happened yet.
There is an anime I like more than the manga. I think that's probably it.
What?
Oh, it's kind of Shoujo Kakame Utena, something that means nothing to nobody. But the manga wasn't very good, but the anime was pretty good. Oh, okay. So it's one of the few things in which I've liked the source material less than the end product. Other than that, I don't know if they exist.
Yeah, I mean, if you know anything that stands out to you, put it in the comments, and we'd like to.
If you've made it this far in our grumpy old men review.
Well, I think when I title this one, it's going to be Grumpy Old Men, kinda, and then a bunch of other nonsense that we're talking about.
So we're talking about movies and kind of it's a natural progression of where we are here for some reason. And I don't know how we got Magic Eyes and a Grumpy Old Man review, but if you were to go back and follow it, there's this nice little train of thought. That
Yeah,
choo-choo-choo.
it's kind of a
Make
choose
it
your own
st- make it-
adventure,
make
and we
it
picked all the
stops-
wrong
Make it
pages.
stops all along the way.
Yeah,
I guess
but-
it just kind of goes to. So, Grumpy Old Man's okay.
okay.
And it leads into other conversations, I suppose. Would I, like, if it was on TV, would I watch it again? Probably not. Unless it just...
But man, was it thought provoking.
It was. I mean, it's just kind of that whole... as you get older and you get more fatalistic, I guess. Because, like, after the character Chuck dies, and it's like, dude, Chuck died, and then it's kind of like, ah. Then they go about their day. And then, like, he's sad later. But it's just that kind of, like... You're so old that, like, when your friend dies, you're like, oh, my friend died. Oh, that's too bad. Oh, well, back on with these little candies because I'm so used to my friends dying.
Yeah, well,
I kind of become a nerd to it.
Well, it's you become like it's funny because I'm entering that stage now.
Yeah,
like I remember, and see, this is why we go off on these tangents because like it's probably me doing it.
It's both of us.
Yeah. Well, so my old man, the older he got, like the grumpier he got. My dad was one of the kindest, gentlest, sweetest men that you ever did meet. But as he got older, it's like everything chapped his ass. The kids would come over and he'd be like, hey, what's going on? And they'd take like stuff out the fridge and he's like, enjoy it. And as soon as they'd walk up, they'd be like, they come over here every day and they grab sodas.
Take my sodas.
They don't put none in there. And it's like, do they think I'm an endless wallet? Or if somebody comes over and borrows a tool, he's like, just make sure you bring it back. And you keep it as long as you need, but make sure you bring it back.
I'm never going to see that again.
I'm never going to see that again. Yeah. It was, and I remember asking him one day, I was like, why are you so freaking grumpy about everything? He's like, I guess it's just something you'll learn when you get older. Now that I'm 47 years old, it's like the places I used to like eating when I was a kid, they're gone.
Yeah, they're closed.
Yeah. All the stores that I liked, they're gone.
The friends you had have either moved away or
some of them have passed away.
Some of them have passed away.
You know, I've lost my father, still have my mother, hopefully for another 80 years. But yeah, that'll be weird. But yeah, it's just I get it. It's like life basically starts. Eventually, everything's good, and then
and kind of without having your friends and family to kind of be that outlet for you to kind of like, hey man, calm down, or like just to go and watch a movie with someone and kind of relax and let some of that shit go. And all that shit just starts piling up.
Yeah.
Without a means to kind of release it.
Yeah, it becomes venom in your gut.
And you just become a grumpy old man.
Yeah. Hey, we found our way back, but yeah, it's funny just because it's without that outlet, it just becomes like basically pure hate in your stomach. And one of my favorite lines from a Pink Floyd song was "Hanging on in quiet desperation is the English way," and it's something that we brought over here as well, because it's like people don't want us that we always for some reason want to project that we're under control of our situation.
No one ever
is. But like we're all basically slipping, but we don't want to like burden other people with it. And yeah, it's one of those movies where, you know, they're acting like it doesn't bother them, but it's kind of like they have to kind of keep plugging away.
Yeah.
And at that point in the movie, they're just kind of like so high on their own anger with each other that it's kind of like they push everything to the side.
It's like when they talk about why they're angry at each other, I don't even know. It doesn't even feel like it's that important to them. It's just kind of like, it's something to keep us going. And then, like, John was trying to, like, you know, maybe we need to end this. And it just wasn't working. And it wasn't until he has a heart attack that Max is kind of like, oh, well, shit, what am I going to be mad at now?
Yeah. It's many times in my family, we've had, like, spats where people stop talking to each other. And then we have someone die, and we all come together, and we're like, let's not do that again. Let's all, you know, because life's too short and blah. And then something happens, and then everyone splits up again.
And then you do that again.
Yeah. People are fucking idiots, is basically, I guess, what it all comes down to.
You fall into patterns. And then also, I mean, people get busy.
Yeah.
And it's pretty easy to text someone or something like that, and just kind of been like, oh, I'm going to get back to him later. And then a week passed, and then 2 weeks passed, and then...
Yeah. And don't think that I think that I'm better than anyone else or that I have a better plan than anyone else. I'm a fucking idiot. It's taken me a long time to figure out some of the stuff I do know, and I know that a lot of the stuff that I do know is probably not right either. But, you know, it's something that you get with life.
You get to learn that long-held opinion that you've had for a long time is actually really stupid, and what were you thinking?
Yeah, I guess I'm just becoming a grumpy old man.
Yeah, I think we all are. I'm just becoming cynical.
All right. Well, when we're older men, you're gonna watch grumpier old men because at that point we'll be grumpier.
I'd watch it eventually, but it's not. There's some movies you watch, and you find out that there's a sequel, and you're like, man, I want to watch that sequel. Then there's some that you watch and they find out there's a sequel. And I'm like, okay, one day I'll get to it. And man, kind of like the original Planet of the Apes movies. I'm like, oh, there's sequels. I'm gonna go watch a sequel, and I watch the sequel. I'm like, oh, okay, there's more. I guess here is where I'll leave it be for the time being.
See, I'm the exact opposite. If I watched one thing and I'm like, I really like that, and then I watch the next one, I was like, that wasn't as great. And then by the time you watch the third movie and it's not good either, you're like, all right, let's see how far down this train wreck goes. Is it all the way to the caboose or what?
So there was a collection of Planet of the Apes on DVD, and it was like really cheap for like all these movies. I'm like, I've never seen Planet of the Apes. I want to go back and watch it, and then I can watch all these other Planet of the Apes movies. So I watched the first one. I'm like, oh, that's actually pretty good. So I threw in the second one. I'm like, what the hell is this? And then these other movies are just sitting on the shelf, waiting for me to one day go back and watch them.
Yeah, and that's when you figure out, like, the Planet of the Apes people were like, holy shit, the first movie was popular?
Yeah, the hammer went out.
So let's put a second one out that kind of links, and then, like, finally they just kind of separate. Yeah. There's, like, the loosest thread that holds them together.
Do you have skinless people underground? I'm like, what the fuck is going on in this movie?
Yeah. Just like how everything else was buried in the city except for the like little subway sign that was sticking up above the ground. It's like, where'd all the buildings go? What makes this sign so strong? But yeah, no, it's I see exactly what you're saying, and I think that there are going to be a lot of people who are going to be pissed that we talked 30 minutes about stuff that was not about that movie. And
hey, it's a good thing we front loaded our pre-spoiler warning at the beginning of this movie, because if we got too off topic for you, you got to turn this off a long time ago.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And you wouldn't have missed us talking about Grumpy Old Men, other than the fact that us getting old and cynical.
That's why the third guy's not here. He knew what was up with this particular video. He's like, I'm just going to skip this one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So he faked his death, so you're going to have to watch it.
Yeah, we'll do better next time. Yeah.
Well, hopefully the next movie we pick is one that we're actually, like, both interested, like, and really, like, delving into. Which, I mean, like, I watched Fright Night, and I'm like, man, I want to talk about Fright Night.
Right.
I watched Strange Days. I'm like, let's talk about Strange Days. And I watched this one. I'm like, it was fine. Anyway, so about Magic Eyes.
I'll do better.
Well, it's not even necessarily that it's a bad. I mean, it's a comedy. I like comedies.
Right.
I mean, it's just kind of, and it's not like I watched it and was bored. Mm-hmm. I watched it and it was fine.
All right. Well, it's honestly, I was kind of expecting that. You know, I have a fairly good gauge on like what you dig and what you don't. But it's one of those ones where it's like I guess I rate a good movie by, is it something that I will buy on DVD? Sure. But I've got a ton of DVDs that I've bought and I've never watched.
Yeah.
Is it something that if it's on TV and it's heavily edited, yippee-ki-yay, Mr. Falcon? Like, if it's something that's super edited, but I still like want to sit and watch it for morbid curiosity for like how people dig these edited versions on TV. Like, yeah.
Once I find out something's edited, I can't watch it.
Oh,
like I was on YouTube and they had like their free movie section, so I've been watching like a movie a day this year. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, oh, I've not seen Silence of the Lambs in a long time, and I put it on, and then the first line was, "This has been edited for to fit within the time allotted." So I'm like, oh, never mind.
Yeah.
Because they're going to take out something out of Silence of the Lambs that's going to just be creepy, and I'm going to be trying to remember. Like, am I stupid? Did I forget? Did I invent something in my head that never happened? It's kind of like when I told you that I watched Cursed. And the one I always watch is the unrated version. Mm-hmm. And then it was on HBO Max. I'm like, oh, I'm watch Cursed again. And that's apparently the PG-13 version. Mm-hmm. So all of this scenes I were expecting were just not in there. I'm like, man, I got to get hyped up for the part where, you know, this really gory thing's about to happen. And then it just didn't happen. So I'm like, did they edit this movie? So no, apparently I have the unedited version.
You sit there like the meme, the lady like looking at all the... Things like, did I lose time?
Oh my God, am I okay?
What's going on? Yeah, it's a couple of my favorite lines from like edits is "Yippee-ki-yay, Mr. Falcon."
Yeah.
I'm tired of these monkey fighting snakes
on this Monday to Friday plane.
Yeah. I just came here to kick some monkey feces.
This is what happens when you meet a stranger in the Alps.
That's one of the best. One of the best. But well, I think we did the thing.
All right, so now I get to pose a movie for you. And ask you the question: Have you seen Sadoko versus Kayuko?
What is that?
So it is essentially the lady from The Ring, Sadoko, versus the lady from The Grudge, Kayuko. So we're gonna have two horror movie icons, like Japanese.
So it's like
icons.
Freddy versus Jason?
Yeah, a little bit. In
Okay.
that sort of, you have two horror movie icons, well, Japanese horror movie icons, both onryo, which are the kind of spirits that they are. You know, that kind of Japanese folklore thing kind of carrying over. And then we'll make them fight each other. And then it's, I watched it.
The dialogue in that movie's got to be trash.
It's Japanese. It's in Japanese, so you'll get to read some subtitles. It might be in
So the gargling actually means something?
No, I mean the movie doesn't have subtitles.
Yeah, but if they're versing each other, it's like they're just one's like gurgling at the one and the other one's just like staring at it.
Now you're gonna have to find out.
Shit. Okay. I'm a little intrigued, I gotta say.
All right.
But like when you said it at first, it was like Sudoku.
So yeah, Sudoku. It's Sadako, which I think in the American one they called her Samara, but she's Sadoko in the original ones, which I've never actually seen the original Ring movies. I only saw the American remake, and I've only seen like one or two of the Ju-On movies, which are the Japanese Grudge movies. I've seen the American, the Grudge, and the Grudge 2 and the Grudge 3.
Just because I'm curious, if you actually watch the next video, the Sudoku, Sadako versus
Kayako.
If you watch that, just like the video so I can know how many people actually looked for that title on YouTube, because I have a feeling that's going to be one that, if they're not looking specifically and the algorithm does not put us on people's front pages, I don't think anyone's ever going to see that one.
So, I mean, after I watched the movie, I wanted to look at some people discussing this movie just to kind of be like, oh, this was kind of fun. I wonder if anyone else is talking about it. No one else is.
Hey,
it'll be us.
Hey, we can corner that market. All right. All right. Well, I will be happy to watch it. I know there was a movie that you threw out there that you wanted me to watch.
There's another one I'm saving for later.
Yeah? Okay. Well, we'll just keep it in the back pocket.
Yeah, let's put that in the back pocket.
Okay.
That one's pretty weird.
So I was weirder than what you just suggested?
Well, I mean, weird in that just, like, why the fuck am I watching this movie? Versus, I mean, Sadako versus Kayako, I have a feeling you're going to be like, no, I'm not going to watch this movie.
I just can't. Oh, okay. I just can't figure out, like, what you would be able to see. Is it an American movie?
Yeah.
I can't figure out what...
I don't... Most of the movies I watch are American. It's just that occasionally, it's like me and my brother used to just buy weird movies.
Yeah.
And some of the ones he would buy me would be like, here's a Korean movie called, like, Guns and Zombies. Or was that Guns, Gangs, and Zombies or something like that. And it's like, we'll watch that movie.
Okay.
And then just some other just weird Korean movies we would kind of buy. Because he bought Raid before, and we watched it before Raid kind of, like, picked up, like popularity in the kind of American market, as it were.
Such a good
Because it was just like, some weird Korean movie, let's watch this one. And like, here's some weird Chinese movie, let's watch this one. And just kind of, it would be like when we'd sit down and watch kind of like just, we'd throw on movies that we'd never heard of and just kind of like, maybe this is good.
Right.
And if it's bad enough, maybe it's something we could make fun of and have a good time watching. So it's either so bad it's fun to watch, or it's actually good and we just enjoy watching it. It's that stuff in the middle that's just kind of boring. That's kind of the fails.
Okay. I'm looking forward to watching it.
All right. And so it can be rented and bought on YouTube, and I think it's on Shudder. So if you happen to have that streaming service, go there and watch it, and come back next time having watched it along with us, and we'll hopefully talk a bit more about it and less about magic eyes and
we will try and keep
nostalgia.
that crap to a minimum in the future, or at least we'll try to make it on topic, because I realize we go. At least my mind does.
I followed our conversation this time quite easily. And why are we talking about old movies is because it's a movie from 97. And why is Grumpy Old Men with you? Because I used to watch these actors with my dad, and I watched this back in the theater with my dad, and it's got that nostalgia thing to it where you take an okay movie, throw nostalgia on it, and that movie's going to be great. And I can see that.
I found that out the hard way with Transformers, the original cartoon.
Oh no. All right. Well,
I hate that was taken from me. Sorry.
Nostalgia is a powerful drug.
And it is indeed.
All right. Well, thank you for sitting down with us for this entire. Looks like a long time to me.
Yeah. So how long do you think this video is going to be? We can probably crank it out in about 15, 20 minutes.
Incorrect.
And then Old Man Laidlaw. Oh, back in my... Yeah. Sorry.
Sit a couple friends down and have them start talking about stuff they like, and they'll find a way to carry on.
Indeed.
All right. So join us next time for Sadako versus Kayako, or maybe another episode of Co-Video.
Is there anything even out right now?
I mean, at the time of recording, Home Sweet Home Alone is pretty new, and Red Notice is pretty new as well. There's stuff we could pick out if that's one that we feel like doing.
Is Red Notice the Ryan Reynolds?
Ryan Reynolds, Dwayne Johnson, and Gal Gadot.
Oh man, such a hottie.
That's a movie I've watched already.
That Ryan Reynolds.
I mean, all three of them are pretty svelte people.
Fuck, marry, kill on those three.
I think marry Gal Gadot, fuck Ryan Reynolds, and kill Dwayne the Rock Johnson. You gotta lock Gal Gadot down.
I can't. I mean, I'm gonna marry Dwayne the Rock Johnson. I'm probably gonna kill Gal Gadot, and I'm gonna fuck Ryan Reynolds.
No, see, I don't like big muscular.
We both agreed we'd fuck Ryan Reynolds. So,
all right.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining this episode, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.